Hi, I'm Ollie from Holt Engineering. I am a recruitment consultant on the engineering team. There isn't really any difference. So autism used to be a thing on its own. It used to be a separate entity, but then as the years have gone on, the spectrum and the categorization within autism has allowed people to be identified purely as ADHD or Asperger's or numerous other things. At the time, I was diagnosed with autism, Asperger's syndrome and ADHD. I think 5 or 6. So pretty young. I don't really remember it. I haven't been able to retain too many memories from younger than 12. No, luckily communication is one of the things that I'm best at, to be honest. I'm not very awkward. I don't feel uncomfortable that often. So I attack everything with communication, actually. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah, I struggle to understand sarcasm, humour, whether it's directed at me or not at me. I tend to just laugh along anyway. That's probably the hardest part of my day, is reading other people, is understanding, like listening to something and being like, I've kind of got to double question it and then triple question it and then double check with Nate and make sure, like, is he being serious? I don't really do well with vagueness. I like to be pinpointed in what I'm thinking and the instructions that I have to follow. One of the most important parts is being in an office environment like this where, you know, my attention rate is already incredibly low. Like, I'm like a cat with a laser, except it's not just a laser, it's noises, smells, taps, like everything's taking my attention, and being able to hone that in and manage it, like Nathan's done incredibly well, and other senior leadership, like it's not just Nath, like they're all pretty fantastic at understanding how I react or how I don't understand something, or if something needs to be cleared up, or, you know, working from home 3 days a week, like that's huge. And it's been massively more productive working from home and having my own kind of space to work in, rather than having to come into an office with 50 other people. People that don't understand me. That's probably the hardest thing in an office. So if there's someone who hasn't ever come up against someone like me, or doesn't understand, you know, not the struggles that I deal with daily, because it's not struggles, like I just get on with it. I think once it was mentioned that you have the fight or flight mode, and I've 0% flight and 100% fight, so it's just constantly attacking every situation as I am. But I don't think it's possible for someone to head towards that fearless emotion. I think that's just something that's completely built in me, and it might be envious to a lot of people, but to me it's also questionable and sometimes a bit silly and dangerous and scary for the things that I do, like, you know, paddleboard into the Isle of Wight when I can't swim, or jumping out of planes, or caving without, you know, a helmet, you know, just all sorts of different things that people wouldn't do necessarily, and that's pretty much what I live for, is those kind of things. I think it contributes a fair amount, to be fair, and I think that comes down to, what do you want to call it, social butterfly, I guess. I love talking to people. People are what I live for, that's what I come to work for, that's why I do so many things outdoors, that's why I've got such a big group of friends, that's why I enjoy football crowds and race course crowds and all sorts of different things, is because of that social aspect. I think a lot of people don't necessarily like people. And I think in recruitment that's important to have, is to be as transparent, you know, and honest about your approach to, you know, not necessarily a sales pitch, but I'm here to help you solve your problem, and in turn, you're going to help me be successful. So ultimately, that's a pretty simple process in my head that has a logical start and a logical finish. So I think understanding the candidate, first of all, absolutely. And then for the company to be able to accommodate that situation and make it as comfortable as possible is the best thing that they can do, instead of ignore it. It has to be addressed, and it comes back to that communication thing. So it comes down to that solid support network, wanting to wake up and go to work, so having somewhere that you enjoy as much as I enjoy working at Holt, and then really just trying to focus in on what you want to do, your why, like the why of what you're trying to succeed, really. You know, they say that, is it 28 days or 21 days gets you out of a bad hobby or a bad habit or whatever, and these things can't change with me. Like, these traits are inbuilt into my brain and into my body and how I am as a person, and I just have to deal with it and overcome it.